This is episode 1 of Pitching Pokemon, the journey of Janice. If you didn't catch the previous episode, episode 0, please check below. The link to that video will be there. I would recommend you watch that first, then come back to watch this one, because in this episode, I'll be taking you through the map layout of the Petra region, which is the setting for what I hope will be a game someday, Pokemon, the Journey of Janice. So we'll start in the first city and we'll go all the way up to the second city. So that's what we'll cover in this episode. So story-wise, Pokemon, the Journey of Janice is the story of our main character, Janice, who has graduated from high school with her friends, and now it's time for them to set off on their journeys as Pokemon trainers. So their hometown, where you start off in the game, in the story, is Percival City. Percival City is located in the southern area of the Petra region. It's a coastal city and is also home to the 4th gym in the Petra region. More on that in a little bit. So Janice, interestingly enough, while she was in school, she befriended a wild Pidgey that would come to her window every now and again, and over time they warmed up to each other, they became friends. And so at this point now, where Janice is about to set off on this journey to become a Pokemon trainer, this wild Pidgey wants to come along, and Pidgey becomes Janice's first Pokemon. I wouldn't call it her starter. She will get a starter at the local laboratory. So you could count Pidgey as Janice's partner Pokemon, but her first Pokemon nonetheless. So let's talk about Janice's family. There's her mom, there's her dad. They are former league champions in the Petra region. Then there are Janice's siblings, the twins. There's Jerome and there's Jennifer. They look up to Janice, and they also look up to their elder sister. This is Janet. And Janet just so happens to be the gym leader in Percival City. So already now you know that at some point Janice will have to come back home and face off against big sister Janet. And then there's Janice's friends. There's Gina, there's Ryan, and there is Rose, and finally there is Kelvin. They've been friends with her since high school. They're also going out on their own journeys, and Janice will meet up with them during the course of the story of the game at different points in the Petra region. So when you kick off the game, you head off to the local lab. This is one of the facilities that are under what's known as the Pokemon Research Society. And each facility is led by a different professor in this region. So this facility, where trainers receive their starter Pokemon, is led by Professor William Willow. And when Janice and her friends come along, he gives them their starter Pokemon. So in the beginning of the game, players would receive that starter Pokemon and have 2 Pokemon now, Pidgey and whichever starter that they want to choose from Professor Willow. And then after that, you set off west along Route 1. And Route 1 is a beach route, and this is where players are going to meet a fisherman named Oscar. And Oscar notices that, okay, Janice, like other trainers, have just started out, and he's willing to just help her out a little bit in like just basics in training. So in a way, Oscar could play the role of the old dude. If you remember, in the older games, you'd have that one guy who shows you how to catch Pokemon. That will be Oscar's role. But that's not the only role, because if you're able to perform a few tasks for him, he will reward players with the fishing rod. That's where you get it. And this will be a chance to, try it out and see if maybe you can catch 1 or 2 water Pokemon along Route 1. Also on Route 1, this is where the first Route Master is found. Of course, the only way to challenge the Route Master is you defeat all the other trainers that are found along the route. And once you do that, you can move forward, you can challenge the Route Master. And if you beat him, you proceed on to Route 2. Route 2 is now along the southwest coast of the Petra region. This is where you find a shop, which is known as Marvin's Soda Shop. This is where, of course, you can buy some refreshments if you like. There are a couple of trainers that you can face. And this is also where the first major event comes in, where you encounter a couple of troublemakers who've shown up at the shop, and they put up a challenge to anyone who wants to step up and face them. But when you notice the levels of the trainers that are in the shop, they are much lower than the ones of these troublemakers coming along. And these troublemakers, they are members of one of the 2 team groups that are in the game. There's Ace Team, and then there's another group that's known as Squad Cool. So Ace Team, they are, I'd call them a mainstream group. Like they are super popular. They are more focused on trying to help trainers get better at, battling, training Pokemon, catching Pokemon, doing all that. So they are super popular for that. And then Squad Cool are also popular, but they are more niche. They are more underground, right? They are not as flashy and all over the place like Ace Team. So what you've got now in this game are 2 teams that are rivals of each other, but they are not evil teams like what you usually get in other games. And this was important because I didn't want to basically create Team Rocket 2.0 or Team Aqua, Team Magma. The same kind of teams that you've seen in the official games. And if you've played a lot of ROM hacks or fan games over the years, you've noticed that a lot of the teams that are in these games, they just follow the same script, the same pattern, where you chase them around the region as they look for artifacts that are connected to a certain legendary Pokemon or some other reason. So I didn't want to go with that. I wanted to create something different. And I ended up with Ace Team and Squad Cool. The villains in Journey of Janice, they will show up. You'll see glimpses of them throughout the adventure. And then we get to the point where there's the big reveal now of who's the evil behind everything that's going on in the region. So this is where we encounter, the first members of Squad Cool. So even the name as well, you can see that you have Ace Team and then Squad Cool, difference in name because they wanted to differentiate themselves from Ace Team. So from Route 2, you move inland now into the Ashwin Meadows and farmlands now. We're now heading inland, and this is the agricultural hub of the Petra region. And this is where you'll find a lot of old money families that are really rich and wealthy due to, agriculture and stuff. And one of the farmers that the players will encounter points out that they've been having some trouble with their crops being, like their fields. When you notice the fields, they are a lot of crops that have been destroyed. And this is because there have been some wild oddish that have been coming along and, digging up the rich soil and, trying to plant themselves in there, So the players are given a chance to, help out the farmers in dealing with these oddish. And after you've dealt with the oddish, you are rewarded with the Whalmer pail. And you can buy berries, honey, and other consumables from the farmlands after you've helped out the farmers. And then from the meadows and the farmlands, you proceed northwards now to the second city. And this is Graham City. And Graham City is home of the first gym, which is a grass-type gym. And it is led by a man named Harold, who also works as the city landscaper. And a lot of his work is on display in the city's main attraction. This is Ferris Park. And this is also the location of the gym. And my idea for the puzzle of this gym would be you have to go around the park looking for the gym trainers who have blended in with the people who are, just there in the park relaxing and having fun and everything. And then once you've defeated all the gym trainers, you can proceed to challenge Harold. Also in Graham City, this is where the second Pokémon Research Society facility is located. And this one is led by Professor Pine. And her team, they research Pokemon that are found in an area known as Rollins Forest, which is located further north from Graham City. And players can help out this branch of the society, helping them out with their research quests. And if you succeed in completing those quests, you'll be rewarded with the DexNav function being added to the Pokédex. So there's your DexNav. Also, Graham City is known for Graham Mart. You've got your regular Pokemon marts. Well, Graham City has got Graham Mart. This is more like a supermarket. So it's a supermart. And there's one section in Graham Mart which is locked. It'll be unlocked after you've earned the first badge. And it's in this section of Graham Mart where you will receive where you can buy the cut TM, which will be needed, to make progress later on in the game. So after you defeat Harold, you get the first badge. This unlocks the field move for cut, right? So you've unlocked the field move, you go to Graham Mart, you get the TM, and then now you can proceed into Rollins Forest and explore much more of it. You can, before challenging the gym, you can go into Rollins Forest and train there. But there's one area, it's the western area of the Rollins Forest, which you can't access because it requires cut. So every other area you can explore, you can train. There's a small lake at the center of the forest. Of course, you can come back once you know how to surf and how to dive. Then you can explore the small lake. On the eastern side of the forest, there's an area where you'll find trees that you can headbutt. And one particular bug catcher will give you the TM for headbutt if you can complete maybe a mini quest for her. You get the headbutt TM. Also, an event that I had in mind, like after you've defeated Harold, there's a Murkrow that suddenly appears in the gym and it steals your gym badge. And so now you have to chase after Murkrow back into Rollins Forest. And what happens is you'll follow Murkrow to that area which you couldn't access before. Or now you can, because you can use the cut field move. You proceed into this clearing where you'll find another squad cool trainer who was hoping that, okay, rather than going through the process of challenging the gym, why don't I just simply steal a badge? Because in the Petra region, in order to receive the trainer card. I'm talking about the story version of Journey of Janice. Trainers, they receive their trainer card after earning the first badge, and then they're supposed to meet up with an official from the Pokemon League, and that official will award the trainers with the trainer card. And it's the trainer card which will have places where you can attach your gym badge to, rather than trainers having a trainer case. It's your trainer card that will hold your gym badges. So this is what this squad called Trainer was hoping to do: get a gym badge, get their trainer card. So you defeat the squad called Trainer, you get back your badge, and then after completing the rest of the Graham City story arc, and you proceed into Rollins Forest, this is where you'll meet up with the second Route Master. This is a bug expert named Violet. Bug expert is a trainer class that I had hoped could be added to the game. You've got your regular bug catchers, you've got your bug maniacs, but I wanted another class. This is the bug expert, the opposite to a bug maniac. These are more focused bug catchers, much more experienced in training bug Pokemon. So now we've got Violet, who serves as the route master for Rollins Forest, and for her challenge, you have to go around Rollins Forest, battling specific bug catchers that are scattered around. You defeat them, you can proceed to face Violet, and maybe defeating Violet will either reward players with a TM or a specific held item. So that's just the first portion of the game that I wanted to share with you. Starting off in the hometown, then Route 1, the farmlands, Route 2, and then the city, which is home to the first gym, and then Rollins Forest. So, like I'd said in the previous episode, Journey of Janice is meant to be a story-driven game. And in the story version of Journey of Janice, Janice meets up with one of her friends, Gina, in Graham City. It turns out that Gina had stayed behind, hoping to meet up with Janice, because the rest of their friends, once they got their gym badges, they left town. But Gina decided to stick around and wait for Janice. They meet up in Graham City. They actually take on the gym together, because Harold realized, since they're the two of you, normally I compete in singles battles, but if the two of you are willing to train and get back to the gym in time, I'm willing to make an exception and face both of you in a double battle. And that's what happens in the story version. If it's able to happen in the game version, even better. It's something that I think people might like to see in the game. So that's the end of this episode. In the next episode, we'll proceed into Route 3 and beyond. So please look forward to that episode. I'm recording this on Friday, so I guess I should say enjoy your weekend and take care.